Good evening. You're watching the main news on HKIBC. I'm Raymond Yueng. Here are tonight's top stories. Home prices in Hong Kong dropped to their lowest level since 2017. A fire in a Tsuen Wan village forces the evacuation of 100 people. And with the ban on CBD products about to take effect, returning travelers have been warned to be careful about what they bring back. Hong Kong home prices have fallen for the seventh straight month to the lowest level since 2017. And for the whole year, the property market lost 15.6% of its value, representing the biggest downturn in 24 years. The annual report card for the world's most unaffordable housing market is out, and things haven't looked this bad for a long time. Figures published by the Ratings and Valuation Department show that Hong Kong's home prices fell 15.6% over the past 12 months, following another 2% drop in December. It was the biggest plunge since the Asian financial crisis in 1998, when the market crashed and prices tumbled 32.5%. It also ended a 13-year rally, with prices last going down in 2008 by 11%. At 332.5, the price index last month was the lowest since April 2017 and was down 16.5% from the all-time high in September 2021. Smaller units seem to be more vulnerable to the market downturn, shedding nearly 16% of value compared to around 7% for homes measuring 1,076 square feet or bigger. With more potential home buyers adopting a wait-and-see attitude, demand remains robust for rental units. Rents for December edged up 0.3%, and for the whole year, they only dropped by a mild 3.7%. There are mixed signals on how the market may develop in the coming year. Analysts expecting a rebound cite a strong stock market and the return of mainland capital as reasons, but others argue that the likelihood of further interest rate hikes by the US Federal Reserve may dampen prospects. The Jockey Club has warned it may have to scale back donations to the community if the government endorses a proposal to increase football betting duty. The New People's Party has suggested increasing the levy by 30% to boost revenue. That translates into $31 billion of taxes each year, up from the current $25 billion. The only licensed betting operator in the city fired back in a lengthy statement, saying the adjustment could eat away all wagering revenue. It stressed that it is already facing the highest betting duty rates in the world, and further increases would make the business model unviable. About 100 people were evacuated and 2 injured in a pre-dawn fire which erupted in a Tsuen Wan village. The cause of the fire is under investigation. Macy Moore reports.
Villagers in Wan Long Tsuen and Tsuen Wan were asleep when a fire broke out at 4 a.m. The blaze was quickly upgraded to a third alarm. The fire services department said 3 metal huts were razed to the ground. 2 were residential units and the other was used to store things. It took 150 firefighters almost 3 hours to put out the blaze. 16 people who lived in the huts and about 90 others in the neighborhood were evacuated to safety. This woman who lived in one of the huts said she's lost her home and was only able to grab her purse when she escaped. She and the other 15 occupants have gone to a government shelter or are staying with friends. 2 villagers, a 15-year-old boy and his 80-year-old grandfather, were sent to hospital for smoke inhalation. One man said his elderly father tried to extinguish the fire, but pressure from the hose was not strong enough. New Territory South Division Officer Yu Zi-kit said firefighters struggled because the nearest fire hydrant was located 100 meters far from the village. Maisie Mock, HKIBC.
Two concert production companies and a dance studio have been prosecuted over a stage accident at the Hong Kong Coliseum last year. Two dancers were seriously injured when a giant screen collapsed during a concert by local boy band Mirror. Engineering Impact Hip Hing Long Stage Engineering Company and Studio Dance Company are accused of 15 violations of labor laws. The firms are accused of failing to provide a safe working environment and failing to notify the Labor Commissioner of the accident and to take out compensation insurance for employees. A hearing has been scheduled for March. 3 employees of Engineering Impact are facing separate fraud charges. Travelers have been urged not to bring back cannabidiol products when they return from countries where they are legal. The advice comes days before Hong Kong bans the substance widely known as CBD. Maisie Mock reports.
These products all contain cannabidiol, commonly known as CBD, which will become illegal next Wednesday when it will be categorized as a dangerous drug. Ahead of the move, customs officials urged people to avoid products with packaging that contains the word hemp, CBD, or cannabidiol, or the image of a weed leaf. CBD comes in different forms, such as food, drinks, toiletries, and pet products. Anyone importing, exporting, possessing, or consuming these items could be penalized.
We will take stringent enforcement action, but indeed, each single case is unique and individual. We will seek legal advice from Department of Justice and to determine whether we defer the action or not.
People who travel to countries where cannabidiol is legal are urged not to carry CBD products on their return to Hong Kong. But if they accidentally bring such items, they should approach customs officers at the airport.
When they collected their baggages, they go to the red channel and inform our officers. We will investigate the cases, and of course, we will seek the legal advice from Department of Justice and to determine whether there's enough evidence to conduct further actions.
The department said the best policy is not to buy a product if people are unsure if it contains CBD. Exporters and importers of CBD products could be jailed for life and fined $5 million. Those who use or keep them face a maximum of 7 years jail term and a fine of $1 million. Maisie Mock, HKIBC.
Cross-border students will have to wait for at least 2 more weeks before they can return to Hong Kong for face-to-face lessons. The original plan was to resume in-person classes next Wednesday, but this has been pushed back to the second week of February for secondary school students and the end of February for those in primary schools and kindergartens. The changes were made after considering factors such as transport and customs clearance. Hong Kong's new COVID cases, meanwhile, declined to 2,335 today, with another 22 deaths. Separately, government pandemic advisor Lau Yulong has recommended ending the mask mandate in phases starting next month for small gatherings outdoors. Overseas, tension is gripping Memphis as the U.S. city prepares to release a video showing a police beating that led to the death of 29-year-old Tyre Nichols. 5 officers have been charged with his murder.
5 Memphis police officers were terminated last week. These officers were found to be directly responsible for the physical abuse of Mr. Nichols. Concurrent within that investigation, other MPD officers are still under investigation for department policy violations. This is not just a professional failing. This is a failing of basic humanity toward another individual. This incident was heinous, reckless, and inhumane.
Police confronted Nichols twice earlier this month after stopping him for alleged reckless driving. He complained of shortness of breath and died 3 days later after being admitted to hospital. The sacked officers Desmond Mills Jr., Demetrius Haley, Tadarius Bean, Emmett Martin, and Justin Smith also face other charges, including assault and kidnapping. Lawyers who viewed body cam footage of the encounter said Nichols had been severely beaten. U.S. President Joe Biden appealed for calm when the video is made public tonight. Arab United Nations and U.S. officials are scrambling to avert a bigger crisis in the Middle East after Israeli troops killed 10 Palestinians in the occupied West Bank. Following the killings yesterday, Israel launched airstrikes on the Gaza Strip after rockets were fired into Israeli territory. In Jenin, grieving families buried those killed when Israeli special forces raided a refugee camp. The troops were sent to arrest members of a group accused of planning and carrying out attacks. 9 people, including an elderly woman, were killed. Israeli troops also shot dead a Palestinian man near Jerusalem. Hong Kong stocks wrapped up the week on another winning streak, with the Hang Seng Index gaining half a percentage point to climb to a new 11-month high. The benchmark advanced in its first 2 days of trading in the Year of the Rabbit on the back of the mainland's post-zero COVID economic recovery, as both spending and cross-border traffic increased. The Hang Seng Tech Index rose another 1%, with Tencent rising 2% to its highest level in 11 months. Developer Country Garden soared over 6% after being granted a $50 million loan from China Minsheng Bank. Photovoltaic shares declined on reports that China is considering banning the export of technology used to make solar wafers to defend its dominance in the sector. Now let's take a look at the markets. The Hang Seng closed the day up by 122 points. The top 10 active stocks, Tencent gained $8.20. Alibaba was down 20 cents, while Meituan was up $2.50. BYD Company was up $6.20, but Ping An Insurance was down 55 cents. The forex trading against the Hong Kong dollar. The euro's at 8.51, the pound sterling 9.68, while the Australian dollar at 5.56. Finally, in Europe, the London FTSE is currently up by 7 points. On to the weather now. An intense winter monsoon will bring cold and dry weather over the weekend. Expect temperatures of 10 to 16 degrees tomorrow. Now let's take a look at the weather around the world. That's our main news for Friday night. Join us for more news at 11. I'm Raymond Yueng. Thanks for watching. Good night.